News Radio 830 WCCO. John Hines with you here this morning. I recently came across an article that posed an interesting question. Would you deliberately or even inadvertently hurt an injured war veteran? Well, this 4th of July season, you might do that and not even know that you did. That's why some people are asking you to be careful. Careful about what? Particularly fireworks. Fireworks as it relates to those who might be dealing with PTSD. I'm joined this morning by a special guest, Shannon Walker. She is the head. She heads up Battle Buddies. Battle Buddies is a nonprofit that provides free service dogs for veterans with PTSD. She could talk about this and give me some more insight because you really understand, or you've come to understand PTSD, Shannon. Good morning. Thanks for being on here on WCCO.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I actually founded Northwest Battle Buddies.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Northwest Battle Buddies, right.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've actually had this discussion with our veterans about fireworks and 4th of July and the fact that they love for people to enjoy their freedom and celebrate, but some of them, some of them don't want to partake in it. And then some of our veterans actually have some of the largest parties, on their block. Lighting off fireworks. So it really is an individual thing. It can be very traumatic, having the unexpected explosion, the smell of the fireworks, and it can definitely create some flashbacks and stress. But I don't know I haven't spoke with one veteran that would want people to not celebrate their freedom that our veterans have so, they've sacrificed and provided for us, the men and women who have served. They want us to celebrate our freedom, but we definitely do need to be educated and keep in mind that not everybody celebrates it the way every free American does that didn't have to serve. For some guys, it can definitely be triggers of the symptoms of PTSD, and it's definitely something to be aware of and to be considerate of, and make sure that they know that we appreciate the sacrifice that they've given us.
Again, Shannon Walker, my guest, the founder, the head of Northwest Battle Buddies, and you can read more about Northwest Battle Buddies online. We happen to live, Shannon, in a state where firecrackers, fireworks that explode, that make loud noises. You can have some flash things, but you can't have the things that offer some sort of a report like that startling bang. But yet, even while you and I are talking, in neighborhoods all around the Twin Cities area here, people are just tossing fireworks. And I think that they don't even think about that. You mentioned even the anxiety from the smell of that gunpowder that is used, or whatever powder is used in fireworks, can cause some severe anxiety among veterans.
It absolutely can, and it can be a really, really distressful thing. And I think it is really important. I know that some, veterans have even put signs in their yard, just letting people know, that there's a veteran that lives here, and to maybe be sensitive, or to even cut the fireworks off maybe right at 12 o'clock, or to not, I know that in some counties you can let off fireworks, many days prior to the 4th of July and even days afterwards. I know that's what's happening in my community right now. However, there are some communities that are more strict and hold it to the single day of. It's absolutely something that we need to be sensitive to. Again, one of my one veteran in particular I was speaking with on this exact subject was, expressing he does not want to inhibit the Americans' freedom to celebrate their freedom. He says, that's what I fought and served to provide. And he said, but he himself goes to the hills when it happens because he doesn't want to be around it. So he's taking it upon himself to just kind of take himself out of the situation. But not everybody can do that. So we definitely do need to be sensitive. But I think that this brings up a great point, that we need to be sensitive every day of every year, because where would we be as a country without our freedom and without the men and women who provided it? So it's just an ongoing issue of being aware, understanding PTSD, understanding how we can affect in a negative way or make the lives better of our American heroes that have served to fight and protect us and provide the very freedom that we're celebrating.
You mentioned going so far as to put up signs. I saw a story on this, that there are a number of places where, and the signs basically just say, proud veteran, combat veteran, I think, please be thoughtful or courteous with fireworks, just as that kind of a reminder around them. Because not everybody can get out of town, can go away, especially if you're in an urban area where it's common common to be throwing, firecrackers, even in a state, as I mentioned, where we live, where they're not completely legal. Let me ask you a little bit about Northwest Battle Buddies. These are the service dogs that you train and are provided for veterans who are suffering from PTSD. Tell me a little bit about what the service animal brings to a veteran in that situation, Shannon. Can you kind of describe that for me?
Absolutely. In any situation, the service dogs that we provide absolutely free of charge to our American heroes, they immediately give them the feeling of being more safer in public, safer in any situation, especially stressful situation. But that dog offers comfort. I mean, it is their battle buddy. That dog has their back. And in this situation, in general, the veterans would more likely be in their home, and just having that service dog at their side, in their lap, away in their bedroom, maybe with the TV louder and the room dark, just having their service dog there gives them that feeling of, I'm in this moment now. I am not back in war. I am not back in my mind. Often symptoms, triggers of PTSD or triggers of anxiety attacks, like sounds or smells of war, can put them back in that place of combat. And that service dog right there in their lap is a continuous reassurance that they're in the moment of now. That is not happening. And when they can look down at their service dog and that service dog is comforting them or is just right there with them, it brings a stability and helps them fight that battle in their mind that I'm right here, I'm right now, and I'm safe. One of the first things all of our veterans say when we have provided that service dog with them is that they feel safe for the first time, no matter what time of year it is, maybe for the first time since they left the military. And not only that, but our dogs do help stop anxiety attacks. Our dogs wake them up from nightmares, just to name a few things that are life-changing for these veterans who receive our service dogs.
So I'm curious to know about the training of the dogs, because there's been so much talk about people who just go out and buy a bib or a wrap for their dog and say, it's a service dog or a comfort animal. But these dogs you're talking about here, these are actually trained, as you say, to wake someone up if they're having a nightmare, to comfort them, to be with them. What kind of training goes into a dog like that? I'm sure they have to be very socialized around other people, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, our dogs go through 7 months to a year of training minimum before they even meet their veteran, and then our veterans go through 6 weeks of training. It's about everything about the dog. It's about temperament and sociability and intelligence and guidability and health, and then matching that dog, the exact right dog, in its temperament and in its personality to the veteran and their lifestyle. I mean, we spend a lot of time making sure that we have exactly the perfect batch, because when we pair them, there's a magic that happens that is unbelievable. And I always say, at Northwest Battle Buddies, we work so hard to provide excellent service dogs to our handlers, our American heroes who absolutely deserve it. And the two of the best days for our organization are the days they meet their service dog. And then the second best day is the day they walk away with their service dog, because their life truly is different from that point on. And it's so amazing to be able to give a gift of life to somebody. We're fighting a suicide rate amongst our American heroes of 22 veterans a day.
Yeah.
Suicide. It's so tragic. And that is why I started Northwest Battle Buddies. My father taught me that when you're in the presence of a veteran, you're in the presence of a hero. Even though he never considered himself one, he served during the Korean War. But he also taught me that freedom wasn't free. And in meeting a veteran and learning about PTSD, that's why I started Northwest Battle Buddies, because I wanted to give that gift of freedom in a life of freedom and independence away from the symptoms of PTSD as much as possible, in as much part the same way that veteran fought for my freedom. And even though I can't compare the two, because there's nothing we could ever do to say thank you enough for what has been given to us in this country, but for me being a personal dog trainer, it is the least I can do, and it's just been a calling and something that we've been working as an organization very diligently to fill, because the need is unbelievably great, and our American heroes deserve the best, and that is what we strive every day to give them, and it's the best in the form of a service dog.
I should remind everybody, too, that if you're interested in learning more and maybe helping with or contributing to Northwest Battle Buddies, the website's just easy. NorthwestBattleBuddies.org will take you right to everything you need, including a chance to make a contribution. Share your thoughts, if you would, Shannon. We've been talking about this so much lately, about people claiming some of the most bizarre pets and animals as service dogs, just so they can, or comfort animals, just so that they can get them on an airplane for free or something of that nature. Let me share your thoughts on that kind of behavior. As you mentioned, your dogs are trained for months and then on their own, and then weeks with their handler. Give me your thoughts about the people who. It seems like to me like they're kind of gaming the system in this case.
Well, it's a gross abuse of the system, and it's severely hurting the disabled. I mean, even when not to get onto the subjects, but when Delta Airlines right now just passed, their policy is that no pit bulls can go on their plane. Well, that's not going to. First of all, that's in direct contradiction to the laws, the federal laws of the American Disabilities Act. You cannot be breed specific. So we've got laws coming down that are creating so much confusion and hurting the disabled who actually have awesomely trained pit bulls that are serving them on a daily basis and making a difference in their life, and yet now they're being discriminated against, and what Delta's trying to do is just protect their passengers, because it's the gross misconduct and abuse of the system, especially against, and it's affecting the disabled, the people who we're trying to help and protect. It's severely hurting them because people just want their pet, or they're bringing an absurd animal breed species saying it's helping me, or even as an ESA dog, because there was a huge difference between emotional support animals and service dogs. And so we're actually, working in the industry very diligently to bring education and to try to help fix the law, establish laws that are going to not hurt the disabled, but yet bring understanding and stop these fake service dogs and the abuse of the system that is hurting our men and women, not only at Northwest Battle Buddies, our men and women that have served, but all disabled.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
It's a huge issue. It's a huge issue.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get your take on it, Shannon, especially as one who cares so much about what you do. And NorthwestBattleBuddies.org. And just remind everybody to be mindful and not be careless with your fireworks during the season. Shannon, thank you so much for the conversation. Again, Shannon Walker, my guest. She is she heads up NorthwestBattleBuddies.org. I imagine, just quickly here before we go off the clock, I imagine that it's got to be almost kind of a tearful moment when that service animal is united with their veteran. As you say, the great day you see them come together, the great day you see them leave together. I imagine it's got to be some tears shed during that time.
It is unbelievably emotional. It's very emotional on the side of the veteran. Sometimes they just break down and start crying. Sometimes they laugh out loud with so much joy. But it's just unbelievable, and it's so humbling for me to be able to be a part of that and to be able to help make a difference. But it really is what gets our organization through. These dogs cost us about $25,000 by the time we've trained them completely, and we gift them to these men and women who absolutely so deserve it. But it is such an honor to work with them, and it is so humbling to be a part of their process of healing. It's just such a privilege, yeah.
Shannon, thank you so much for doing what you do. God bless you. Have a great 4th of July. Again, NorthwestBattleBuddies.org is just one such organization that is really dedicated. Hey, I appreciate your time so very much here on WCCO today.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful 4th of July. Thank you.